Shalom. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Ruach HaKodesh. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the house of David, the elect, the 144,000 men that are doing this in sincerity and truth. And much love to the 1/3, the men, women, and children that are listening, learning, and helping in all sincerity and humility. To you all, I say shalom and greetings. All right. So I got this picture up here. It's not necessarily what I want to go into, but I saw it on my search and I thought it was a powerful picture for the things that are happening in the earth right now, with all of this prophecy going down. You know, as you see, there's Donald Trump's wall, all right, and it has cameras on it, all right. The signs say, "You are now entering into America. Those with the chip, with no chip, merge right." You see that? And that's spiritual. Those with no chip merge right. All right. And you see it's on the right hand side, there's one small skinny pathway for it, right? And the other one is like, it's like I don't know if you brothers ever heard of an HOV lane. Like, so down in Florida, we have what's known as an HOV lane. The HOV lane is the lane where you have to have a carpool. So you have to have 2 or more people in your car during certain hours to drive in that lane. But the point is, that's one lane, and all of the other lanes are like super packed. Or if you got like the express lane, you know, express lane down here be like one lane, and then the other side be super packed. You know, the scriptures talk about follow not a multitude to do evil. All right. Or if you read Matthew 7:13, let me read that. I don't want to go in a different direction, but it kind of works because the next picture hasn't come up. It's about to in a second. But this is Matthew 7:13. It says, "Enter ye in at the strait gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be that go therein. Thereat, because strait is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few be there that find it." So, hey man, we're Lord willing, we don't take that chip, all right? And we fight in our temptation. You see, they got all the chemtrails in the air with all the cameras. They won't even need them cameras because they're gonna have eyes on you already with that damn chip knowing you at. But yeah, they putting cameras everywhere. But now, as I transition to the actual topic, okay, I'm gonna jump back on that too as well. So as you can see, this is a Walmart FEMA camp. Like they, you know, trying to make it look all nice and shiny and shit, but it's a FEMA camp. You know, they're already setting these up. They're already activated FEMA, and they're about to start using these large facilities. They said they started doing testing outside. But the main point that I wanted to get with this is, you know, this quarantine is really a transition for putting people in internment camps. Okay, it's getting see. Esau is subtle, and by Esau I mean the Edomites, the so-called white nation, and especially right now the elite of them and the powers that be. So with this coronavirus, you get everybody to go in the house. You get everybody to learn how to psychologically live in a small amount of space with limited food, limited water, and limited resources. All right? So it's a psychological move that they're playing right now by even having everybody quarantine themselves. So you're getting the people in the mind state of imprisoning themselves before it even begins. All right. So if these people are imprisoning themselves, they're not. The next step is just to relocate them. All right. So let me get this verse, because I wasn't going to start with this, but I'm gonna play this 2 ways. This is Jeremiah 15:2. "And it shall come to pass, if they say unto thee, Whither shall we go forth? Thou shalt say to them, then thou shalt tell them, Thus saith the Lord, such as for the death to death, and such as for the sword to sword, and such as for the famine to the famine, and such as for the captivity to the captivity." Okay, so the Lord has certain people that are designated for death, that are designated for the sword. All right, they get shot or killed. There are people designated to receive famine, and there are definitely people that the Lord got designated for captivity. And captivity in these modern days, besides the captivity that we're currently in, another form of captivity would be imprisonment. Okay, so if you go into that word captivity, it goes back to a word, Shabbawath. And Shabbawath is actually another way of saying is also a former state of prosperity. All right. So the thing is, these people, a brother sent a video of this little girl crying, a little Edomite girl crying because she didn't have any KFC. They had some spot out there called Nando's. No more Pizza Hut. So she's crying. That's how you know this place is through. She was like, you're going to actually have to eat mommy's cooking now. And the girl was breaking down in real life tears. And see, that's because they're in their mirth. They're in their state of prosperity right now. So, hey, you're going to come into your former state. It's your former state where it's prosperity. So when they end up in these FEMA camps, it's going to be the complete opposite. All right, these people are going to be sad. You're going to be mourning. You're not going to have any food. So they're already getting your mind wrapped around it, of having your freedoms being stripped away, being locked inside however the size of your house is. I don't even care if you got a large house. If you got a large house, at some point you start to get cabin fever. All right, and if you don't know what that is, check it out. But you start to have cabin fever. That essence of being stuck in one place and not being able to be released, man, no matter how large the walls are. All right, you're going to want to get out. It's like a bird inside a cage. Okay, so the Lord said he got a certain amount of people set up for the captivity. And that's what's about to happen. So they're already pre-programming you people to be ready for that judgment. But for the brothers out there, this goes for the brothers and the sisters and the children that are under the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, that are part of that elect that come back to him, that he's going to have mercy upon. Okay, this is there have been a couple of brothers, prophets in the scriptures that have been in bondage, been put in captivity, so to speak. I'm not going to try to read the whole thing. I'm gonna just bring up the couple points. This is Genesis 39, and I'll start at 19. It says, and it came to pass when his master heard the words of his wife, which he spake unto him, saying, after this manner did thy servant to me, that his wrath was kindled. So basically, the Pharaoh's wife lied on Joseph and said that Joseph was in there and he had sex with her, but she was lying on Joseph. That's another thing. You got to be careful out here, man. All right, got to be careful. But it says, even right now in this time of Jacob's trouble, you got to be careful who you trust. You got to be careful who you're around. Because people going to turn you in just because they can. Just because they don't want a bad name to be on them. It could be anything. Just because she was the one acting like a harlot coming on to Joseph. But she the one got him locked up. All right, it says, and Joseph's master took him and put him into the prison, a place where the king's prisoners were bound, and he was there in the prison. But the Lord Yahweh was with Joseph and showed him mercy and gave him favor in the sight of the keeper of the prison. And the keeper of the prison, see, that's how you know, man, the Lord will look after you. The keeper of the prison, Joseph was found favorable in his sight, man. So the different places that we walk in, even say, hey, if the Lord be with you, even your enemies will be at peace with you, man. Okay? It says, and the keeper of the prison committed to Joseph's hand all the prisoners that were in the prison, and whatsoever they did there, he was the doer of it. Joseph was the top dog up in the prison, man. It says, the keeper of the prison looked not to anything that was under his hand, because the Lord was with him, and that which he did, the Lord made it to prosper. So everything that Joseph did, he was prospering in it. So I just want to go down to a specific verse. I'm going to jump down to verse 15. It says, for indeed I was stolen away out of the land of the Hebrews, and here also I have done nothing that they should put me into the dungeon. All right, so Joseph was put into a dungeon, man, which is like a deep, dark place, a hole. And these people are going to be in dungeons, man. These internment camps, they got this picture looking all pretty, but on the inside, it's going to be death, stink. It's going to be probably got dead bodies in there, people shitting, not being able to use the bathroom regularly, not getting food, so your pores start stinking. It's going to be a whole lot of stuff, man, being shut down in the dungeon. And Joseph actually got released because the Lord was with him, and he was able to prophesy those dreams. Who knows what kind of miracles the Lord is going to have done in these times to come, man. All right, so let me get this now. This is about Jeremiah. This is Jeremiah 37 and 16. It says, I'll start at 15. When the princes were wroth with Jeremiah and smote him and put him in the prison, in the house of Jonathan the scribe, for they had made that the prison. So, hey, Jeremiah was cast into prison, and they say he was beat. You know, and see, now I got this picture. It came up a little sooner than I expected, but, you know, these are what they're going to put these bodies in, man. These are caskets that they use at FEMA camps and internment camps that are used to put many bodies in it, man. I don't even know how. You could probably put up to 10 bodies in that thing, man. You know, and so they use those. They're going to burn bodies. They're going to be getting rid of people. They're going to be digging holes and putting those in them. There's going to be a lot of people that die inside them internment camps. But the Lord said if we praise his name and follow him into the end, and matter of fact, I'm going to get that in a moment too, after I read this real quick. It says, for they had made that the prison, when Jeremiah was entered into the dungeon and the cabins, and Jeremiah had remained there many days. So you see that Jeremiah got locked up into a dungeon many days. Okay, so now that came out, it's a perfect segue for this revelation. Okay. So, some brothers gonna get locked up in them FEMA camps, man. Does that mean the Lord ain't dealing with you? Of course not, man. This is Revelation 2:10. It says, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and you have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. You see that? So is that just talking about, you know, the prisons that we have now? You know, some brothers are locked up in that, but this is talking about these are talking about specific prisons. These are talking about internment camps and prisons that are to come. You know, it said, fear none of those things that thou shalt suffer, man, because they said they smoked Jeremiah, you know, so they might punch at you. They try to mess with you, do a little slight torture tactics, man. You know, I pray brothers don't get tortured, but hey, if you get tortured, I mean, the Lord gave you the spirit to endure it. And how much more in that time? All right, it said the devil, who's the devil? Esau, shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried. Okay, and it's a trial of your faith. It said, ye shall have tribulation 10 days, and that 10 days is a representative of completion. So it can be a few days, it could be a month, shit, it could be a few months, man. You know, but hey, that you fight for the Lord, and the Lord gonna fight for you. Strive for the Lord unto death, and he shall fight for thee. It says, be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life, man. So hey, even if they take your life out up in there, you know, you still got the Lord. That's what I told my mom again. Hey, moms, you know, through the Spirit, I can't lose. We can't lose, and I'm saying that Lord willing, but hey, we can't lose. We got the victory through Yahweh Shai, man. So even if they put us to death, we still are gonna receive the glory, man. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai. Okay? So now I'm going to go back to Jeremiah. You know, and I didn't even pull up the precepts on the Lord, but the Lord was in prison, man. All right? Hey, when you think they took him to that room and put that robe of scarlet on him? In fact, let me see if I can find that real quick. Matthew 20, gotta be 26 or 27. I don't know if they go into much detail in this one. You know, they, man, spitting on the Lord, disrespecting the Lord. These people through, man. This is Matthew 27 and 26. It says, then released Barabbas unto them, and when he scourged Yahushua, he delivered him to be crucified. So they beat up the Lord, and so he delivered him to be put to death. It says, then the soldiers of the governor took Yahushua into the common hall, and gathered unto him the whole band of soldiers. And they stripped him and put on a scarlet robe. And when they plaited a crown of thorns, they put it upon his head, and a reed in his right hand, and they bowed the knee before him, and mocked him, saying, Hail, King of the Jews! And they spit upon him, and took the reed, and he smote him on the head. You see that? So they were being demons, man. The Lord was up in, that's a prison, man. Being put somewhere, they were torturing them, beating them, punching them, putting some thorns on your head, man. All right? Thorns are spiky as shit, man. Especially those big, long ones. You know? I used to work with flowers, man. And they put it on your head. They spit on our Lord. They smote him. Okay? That's why the Lord gonna get down on them. It says, and after they mock him, they took the robe off from him, put his raiment on him, and led him away to crucify him. So after they scourged him, they beat him, then they put him in jail for a little while. Don't believe that was like super quick that happened, you know? And then when he got out, they went to go crucify him. Hey, and this Peter and Paul, they were in prison too. All right, but the Lord was with them and got them up out of there. Okay, Daniel in the lion's den. Okay, he was put in prison, but he had faith in the Lord. Okay, let me go back to Jeremiah. In Jeremiah 38:6, it says, then took they Jeremiah and cast him. Should I start up? No, it's okay. Jeremiah 38:6. Then took they Jeremiah and cast him into the dungeon of Malchiah, the son of Hamelech. So he went from one jail to another jail. You know, he didn't just, because at first they say he was in Jonathan the scribe's prison. All right, so he went it's like going from jail to the prison, man. All right, it says the dungeon of Malchiah, the son of Hamelech, that was in the court of the prison. And they let down Jeremiah with cords. So you know you in the dungeon for real. If you gotta get let down with cords, man. They got that on something like older them movies, like ancient medieval time movies or whatever. You know? But they had to lead you down with cords, man. You being put into a dungeon for real. They gotta put you on cords just to lead you down in there, man. So there's a pit. You know, kind of all kinds of shit been down there. Pissing and shitting and anything dead they might have thrown down there. You know? Anything could be down there. Old trash. It says, and in the dungeon there was no water but mire. So it's like mud, sticky mud and dark clay and tar. Alright? It says, and in the dungeon there was no water but mire. So Jeremiah sunk in the mire. Shit, probably like quicksand. Now when Ebed-Melech, the Ethiopian, one of the eunuchs which was in the king's house, heard that they put Jeremiah in the dungeon, the king then sitting in the gate of Benjamin, Ebed-Melech went forth out of the king's house and spake to the king, saying, my lord the king, these men have done evil in all that they have done to Jeremiah the prophet, whom they have cast into the dungeon. And he is like to die for hunger in the place where he is, for there is no more bread in the city. So the eunuch was that was the Lord put the spirit on him to defend Jeremiah. Then the king commanded Ebed-Melech, the Ethiopian, saying, and that Ebed-Melech is most likely Ibad-Malach, which is a servant king or servant to the king, and went into the house of the king under the treasury, and took then old cast clouts and old rotten rags, and let them bound down by cords into dungeon to Jeremiah. So he even had the original cords, man. He made some stuff up out of old rags, which is spiritual too. You know, we get pulled up by the things that we did in this world to find ourselves back into the light. Okay, the Lord is rooting us up out of that mire. All right. But these people are heading into it, getting ready for this new world order. All right, getting ready for their destruction. Because when they get put into them FEMA camps, it's going to be over for them, because they're not going to have the Lord with them. The Lord is what's going to deliver you out of them situations, man. When Esau just prepping their minds, man, getting ready for slavery. All right, for bondage. Okay, it says, and Ebed-Melech the Ethiopian said unto Jeremiah, put now these old cast clouts and rotten rags under thy armholes under the cords, and Jeremiah did so. So they drew up Jeremiah with cords and took him up out of the dungeon, and Jeremiah remained in the court of the prison. Then Zedekiah the king sent and took Jeremiah the prophet unto him into the third entry that is in the house of the Lord. And the king said unto Jeremiah, I will ask thee a thing, hide nothing from me. Then Jeremiah said unto Zedekiah, if I declare unto thee, wilt thou not surely put me to death? And if I give thee counsel, will thou not hearken unto me? Hey, so even straight like that, that's how a man of the Lord is supposed to be. He just got out of being in a jail, then went to a prison, sunken in mire, been down there. He said there's no bread in the city, so you know he's famished, probably losing weight, fasting, ain't got no food. All right? But Jeremiah, hey, man, this is how you know the prophet's got a hell of a spirit, man. He said, this is what, then Jeremiah said unto Zedekiah, if I declare it unto thee, wilt thou not surely put me to death? All right, so he's like, hey, you asking for the truth, but if I tell you the truth, you still gonna kill me? Because he said, I'm gonna ask thee a thing, hide it not from me. So he's like, if I tell you the truth, then man, you still gonna kill me? Am I therefore becoming your enemy because I tell you the truth? All right. Then he said, and if I give thee counsel, will thou not hearken unto me? So if I tell you what to do, you're not even gonna listen. All right. It says, so Zedekiah the king swore secretly unto Jeremiah, saying, as the Lord liveth that made us this soul, I will not put thee to death, neither will I give into the hand of these men that seek thy life. Then said Jeremiah unto Zedekiah, thus saith the Lord, the power of hosts, the power of Israel, if thou wilt surely go forth into the king of Babylon's princes, then thy soul shall live, and this city shall be burned with fire, and thou shalt live and thine house. But if thou wilt not go forth to the king of Babylon's princes, then shall the city be given into the hand of the Chaldeans, and they shall burn it with fire, and thou shalt not escape out of their hand. All right. So, basically after this is when, Zedekiah decided not to listen. He wanted to do his own thing, and he was given into the hand of the king of Babylon. He got destroyed. His house got destroyed. His eyes got poked out. You know, all that kind of shit because he didn't listen, man. So let me keep going on. But nonetheless, Jeremiah got delivered. All right, this is Lamentations 3, and I started 50. The point is in 55. It says, till the Lord looked down, and behold, from heaven, mine eye affected mine heart, because of all my daughters, all the daughters of my city. My enemies chase me sore like a bird without cause. See, that's how they are, and they chase us sore, man, like a bird without cause. You know, you know, have you ever been chased by a bird? Like one time, so down here they got some birds that's a little bit more territorial, and so one time I stared at this bird at his face and shit. Just looking at him like, you know how you look like a cat on the street. Man, he started chasing me. He's like, you know, and I'm like, oh shit. Like, you know, they'll poke out your eyes, man. You know, but he didn't really have a cause. You know, sometimes you see like ravens and stuff chasing people, like this chick on his riding his bike and birds are just chasing him without cause, man. All right, it says, they have cut off my life in the dungeon and cast the stone upon me. Hey, so they cut off his life down there. They wanted him to die. If it wasn't up to the eunuch, he would have died down there, man. All right, and so basically that's how it is spiritually. If brothers get put in these internment camps, hey, if it wasn't up to the Lord, all right, we will probably die in them places, man. And even if you do gotta die, the Lord still got your back, man. Whereas these people, they don't got no place of mercy. Their judgment is going to be terrible. Their deaths are going to be dishonorable. It says, waters flowed over my head. Then I said, I am cut off. So he probably fell down in that mire. He ain't got no place to sit. He can't stand all day. So he said water's flowing over my head because he said there was no water down there but mire. So that isn't literal water. And if they did give him any water, they probably ain't let it down by a bucket. They just threw the shit down on top of him, you know, and hoping he drink what he can and, you know, try to drink that shit off his face or something. But he probably was sitting down in the mire, probably wanted to go to sleep. If he start, next thing you know, you fucking about to die from choking on the mire, so you got to wake up. All right. It says, then I said, I am cut off. I called upon thy name, O Lord, Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua, out of the low dungeon. See, you see that? So when you get sent to these princes, what is going to happen to these people who don't have the name of the Lord, man? Okay. It says, thou hast heard my voice, hide not thine ear at my breathing, at my cry. Thou drewest near in the day that I called upon thee. Thou sayest, fear not. You see that? We are not to fear. So though we see these things coming, man, they're quarantining these people, getting them ready for FEMA camps. Though we see they're trying to create their new world order. Though they're about the mark of the beast is coming next. You know, they might have you in that dungeon, have you in that FEMA camp. Like, hey, look, as long as if you take this chip, we'll let you go. You know, you can be in the worst situation like Jeremiah was, not having no food, not having no water. All right, they like, hey, we'll give you some water. We'll give you the best water in the world if you go ahead and take this chip. Why would they want you to take it that bad? Like, let's think about that. Why would they want you to take something that bad? For a glass of water, you exchanging what? Your soul for a glass of water, man. It ain't worth it. You know, so don't be like these people on the left, man. Hey, get to the right. And it ain't gonna be like this either, because all the people at the right going to be like pilgrims on the earth, because they ain't gonna play that shit. It's gonna be exiles. gonna be an exile if you don't got that chip. You're gonna be, you know, that's why 1/3 gonna be delivered. You're against the ways of this world, against Babylon. All right, but this is what's about to come upon America. So they're prepping you people's minds for quarantine. They're prepping you people's mind for captivity and for slavery. Okay. Hey, so may the elect endure and not take that chip, man. I'm going to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the house of David, the elect. Until next time, Shalom.